again, I have a polarity of understanding when it comes to the brothers when they make decisions. I understand like Kanye right now, in a lot of ways, to me, I know that he's in pain. I'm seeing
Mhm.
pain when I see that brother talk. I'm not really seeing someone that's stable mentally.
Right.
Like he's sharp, like a lot of things he's saying is the truth and it's on point. But the only thing about it is, you have to be strategic and covert with all of your information when you get out there.
Yeah.
And the one thing we must understand is like we had somebody, one of the elders that passed on, but his idea still stands, which is the Nation of Islam, Elijah Muhammad. And he always told his members to study the white man. Don't hate on the white man. Don't disrespect
Mm.
the white. Don't look at the white man and say, "Oh, forget him." No, study him. And if you pay attention to them, what you see is they do everything covert. They keep it on the low. They don't come
Mhm.
out and just be blurting out and saying any old thing. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-uh.
They don't. It ain't a lot of singing they do. But it's a lot of singing that our people do, and they get out there because we get over emotional. And this is the problem with most of us. We get over emotional and we don't understand the natural gender within ourselves.
And that's why.
Like I talked to Poe
Mhm.
about, you know what I'm saying? There's a masculine feminine element within yourself. This ain't woman stuff, not physical man and woman stuff. This is an inner world that you have to get in tune with in order to control your emotions. See, when you get over emotional, that's the feminine aspect of yourself, including when a woman does.
Mm.
And when you create, that's the feminine aspect.
And
Anything you create, any idea you come up with, that's the feminine aspect of yourself.
I say that's the same. I think part of that be the reason why we like when we dealing with the police. This is my thing too. I
Mm,
feel like
mm,
over history,
Emotional.
mm.
as a black man, you don't want to be accused of something you didn't do, right? So like you might get emotional in trying to prove that you didn't do whatever it is because you know just because of history. So like I think people take that as a form of aggression because you know
Mhm.
we animated when we trying to show we ain't do nothing.
Yeah, 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 and it's a lot. It's like the abused child, man. Like when someone gets tired of getting their ass kicked or seeing their people getting their ass kicked, and you used to being, on the lower end of the totem pole in your mind, you will react a certain way, and this is what goes on. But it all, then again, there again, it all starts with the self, man. From the self, then it goes into the family. A lot of us are, we're at that age where we have families now. We have children and we have a woman that trying to maintain and deal with, and she's trying to deal with us, and she's learning as she goes. And a lot of people feel like they don't have a problem when they really do have a problem, because all of us come from some form of dysfunction. And until we take a look at that and understand that the formative years are the most important aspects of our lives that we need to look at, not history. You can look at that history stuff, that's good and that's cute, but what you gonna do with it? You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes history makes you feel bad about yourself or bad about your people. So it's better to look at the history that fits where you're trying to go in this world. And that's the history of the kings and queens, the gods, the beautiful stuff that comes forth. Now, there's always going to be that negativity there, but you got to remember there's also a law called the law of rhythm that talks about the pendulum swing. The right side is the good stuff that we all like to be on, but that left side is that testimony that you're going to go through the fire. You're going to go through problems. You're going to have issues. There will be ups
Mm.
and downs in everything you do.
Mhm.
There's a time you're going to have money, there's a time you won't have money. Once upon a time, we were all young sitting on this camera right now. Look at us now. As we transcend, we keep good. We're getting older. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, it doesn't, your body might not feel the same as it used to. You might feel a tweak in your knee that you didn't feel when you was younger.
Yeah.
You might not feel the wind that you used to have. But at the end of the day, the number one thing to always remember is that we have the ability to transcend the swing of emotions. And transcending the swing of emotions is based on getting a knowledge of self. And natural law is the truest knowledge that any human being can have, man. There's 7 principles, and we overlook those things, man. We overlook what transgressions are, and this
Mm.
is why we don't deal with each other in a proper light. That's why black people really can't get together hardly and put money together in a pool, because we don't trust each other. And we don't trust each other because we get over emotional a lot of times,
And you said
when a problem arises.
a pool or a susu?
Well, eat both of them. You know what I'm saying? When people put money together to say like, hey,
Oh
let's
man.
let's all go in and get this building over here.
Right.
Well, who's gonna hold the money and who's gonna, and it's
And look, who oh wait, look, and let's say you Kenyatta, you put in 10,000, I put in two,
right,
and Poe put in two, you gonna think
right.
it's really yours. But
Hmm.
I'm like, nah, it wouldn't have been yours unless we had that 4,000 add to your 10. But we think about it as if I put 10, then they got to do a lot more work in it than me,
Mhm.
and all kind of stuff. Meanwhile, you got a whole house, everybody making 100,000. They live in one
Right.
house, stacking the money
I
so they can
know.
buy another one.
And that's the thing. That's what Kanye was saying, low key. You know, it's like, man, I mean, they people stick together. You
I
know, so
was,
what we need to do is we need to study them and begin to take those lessons and start, man, come new, man. But the first thing that has to be done is we have to gain a knowledge of self. We have to learn what a transgression is, and any transgression is a form of theft. You know, when we murder someone, that's taking a life. You rape someone, you have taken their chastity. You hurt someone in their physical body, you have taken away their right to feel good in their physical body. You see what I'm saying? So if I steal something from you, we already know what that is. So transgressions, we just have to have laws, rules that we live by and have principles. See, these principles will keep us in balance with one another and will give us the boundaries we need in order to function with one another. Because boundaries are the same thing that you see when you're driving in the street or you're on the freeway. If those lines weren't there and that median wasn't there, it would be chaos all day long. There would be so many head-on collisions. It would be more deaths than COVID. Because boundaries are the name of the game. Without boundaries, nothing works. And it starts with yourself, though. You have to start with boundaries for self. You know, sometimes you gotta say, I can't eat that extra cookie. I don't eat that piece of cake. It's 8 o'clock at night. What the hell I look like eating ice cream right now? What am I doing? Why am I yelling at my woman? You got to have boundaries. Why I'm about to spank my kid? Damn, let me look at some knowledge on how I should be disciplining my child. You know what I'm saying? Because spanking the child teaches the child to fight to solve problems.
And
You see what I'm saying? This is where we come from. This is what we come from. You know what I'm saying? Until we get through the psychosis and look at the formative years, nothing's going to be fixed. Nothing will change until we start uploading new software of information. As you know, the computer is made in the likeness and image of the human mind. That's why the format of the computer is the most important part to the computer.
Yeah, but we don't use our mind like a computer, though.
Well, you know, the computer can't process, can't do the things we do. You know what I'm saying? The computer is beautiful, you know what I'm saying? It's creating a likeness and image, but the computer is an inanimate object basically until it gets legs, you know what I'm saying, and turns into a robot, you know. So, but with us, it's like we can, you know, plant seeds within ourselves and watch them grow, you know. Same way we do when we have children with a woman. You know what I'm saying? It's the same principle. As above, so below. As within, so without.